Cheers, everybody. We're back. I am Nate. This is Good Bets, Good Times. It is Friday, August 22nd, 2025. And in less than 24 hours, we have college football. Week 0 is tomorrow. I know, we're cutting it close on the podcast. But hey, we made it just in time. A couple days late, but hey, we're here. Ready to preview all of the Week 0 games, some bets that we're on, what we're leaning towards, and review a few of our golden rules of sports betting, some tips that we laid out throughout the summer in some of our episodes, just to get us prepped. Make sure everybody is ready to go, and we're all set to have a successful, profitable season, have a great time, getting down action on the weekends, and hopefully ending the year with a little bit of cash in our pockets. So with that being said, once again, I am your host, Nate with NT Sports. We do this every week. We spent the entire summer, if you haven't listened to any of our episodes, we've spent the entire summer, the past 12 weeks, previewing all the conferences in college football, along with the NFL. We've talked about all of the futures bets, season win totals, everything that we're on, the rationale behind that. And finally, we get to talk about some actual football games and some real life bets that we are making that we get to sweat out tomorrow. So here we are. We're excited. Let's get this rolling. And before we do that, once again, if you are a listener of the podcast, if you're enjoying the show, do us a quick favor, give us a rating, review, some feedback, comments, connect with us on all of the social media platforms, X at NTSports22, Instagram at NTSports22, same thing on TikTok and YouTube. We posting all of our content on there. Interact with us. We love talking ball, having a good time, breaking down our bets. We'll be talking a little shit, having some fun. Just having some fun throughout football. That's what it's all about. Making bets, talking ball. Win or lose, we have a good time. Before we dive into the full slate of games, let's start here. Quick refresher. Just take a few minutes, and we did a whole podcast earlier on. You can check it out. I believe it was episode 1, actually, to be honest. Maybe episode 2. Can't remember. We're on episode 13 now. Point being, we have 5 tips, 5 golden rules of sports betting that are going to help you out. Make sure that you are staying in the game all season, not betting more than you can afford, making smart, good, process-oriented bets, and doing everything you can not to donate to the sports books every weekend. That's the goal here. And rule number 1, I know we talk about this a lot every week, but it's literally, in my opinion, the most important thing that you can do this football season is manage your bankroll. Protect that bankroll, all right? And how we're going to do that, once again, you're going to set aside a sum of money that you can afford to lose without feeling uncomfortable, and that's going to be your bankroll for football season, all right? You're going to spread this bankroll out amongst every single sports book that you have access to. So you're ready to go, you're line shopping, and you can make a bet as soon as a number that you like pops up. And then we're going to bet 1% to 2%. If you're a new bettor and you just want to get action down on as many games as you possibly can that you feel good about, just bet 1%. So if you got a $1,000 bankroll, you're betting $10 per game. And the big goal here is just, there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, especially if you're betting a lot of college football. There's going to be cold streaks. You don't want to bet too much too soon. So just figure out your bankroll, whatever that number is for you. Stick to it. Stick to a unit size and bet that throughout the entire season. Number 2, really focus on your process. This is a process game, all right? Focus on process and don't get bent out of shape on the results. You'll hear this a lot from anybody who has experienced sports betting over time. Good bets are going to lose, and you're going to have some bad bets that are going to win. It's going to go both ways. But you shouldn't judge your bet on the outcome by itself. All right. Obviously, we want to win our bets. good or bad bets, we want to win our bets. We want to make, if you make more good bets over time, you will be a long-term profitable sports bettor. The next thing is bet the price, not the logo. We're not betting these teams. I don't care what you think about a team. I'm an Ohio State fan. I don't give a shit if it's Michigan playing. I'm not going to bet against Michigan because I don't like Michigan. If the number's good and there's value on the bet, I'm placing the bet. We don't get our biases in the way. The price is right. It's a good bet. This is a numbers game, not a whatever team you give a shit about game. The same thing goes for the Buckeyes. I'll bet against the Buckeyes. I don't care. If the number's right, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to bet against the Buckeyes week 1. But we'll get there. Next thing is, I mentioned this already, use multiple sports books. Any sports book you have access to. I think here in Ohio, I might have a dozen sports books that I have. And each sports book is going to have a slightly different price. You're shopping for the best price. If you find a line, find a number that you like and you're confident in, you're going to look at every single sports book you have. Ideally, you have some sort of odd screen, or a lot of times we'll just use the Action app and pull up all the books I have, see what the best numbers are. Sometimes that's a little delayed. You can get more high-tech odd screens that are more live. They are expensive, though, so if you're just a weekend warrior and you just want to quickly shop around, just use the Action app or some free odd screens or cheap odd screens they have online and just get an idea. And, if a line that you like is at minus 110, one book, it might be minus 115, minus 120 at another, and you might find it at minus 105. Or you might find a blind that's a half point better to jump on. And those differences over the course of a football season are going to add up, and it's going to help you become slightly more profitable than you would be otherwise, and win a few more bets. Those half points matter. Those 5-10 cents on the hold, that matters. So use as many sports books as you can download and have access to. And the last thing is track. Make sure you're tracking throughout the whole season. I mentioned focus on process, not results. Part of that is understanding your bets, understanding when you're placing bets, what lines you're getting, monitoring your CLV to make sure that, the bets you are getting are the best number, and see if the market's going for you or against you. This will allow you to spot patterns, find strengths, see if what part of your process is off throughout the season. If you get into a rough patch where you're losing some games, then you have all your bets tracked. You see where you place the bet, where the lines are moving. You can identify patterns and figure out any leaks in your game that you need to improve on throughout the season. But tracking is so important to understand. All right. So that's our 5 quick tips to prepare you for a successful football season of betting. And for more, we have the website, we have our entire betting library, everything from books that can help you level up to podcasts that we love. We love listening to other sports bettors, very experienced sports bettors who have great takes, different types of styles of betting too. Some are more handicap focused, some are more model and data driven, but it's good to get a wide range of perspectives and opinions on these games. Also just websites that you can use, tools you can use. So everything's that is on ntsports.win/betting library. Follow us along on the Action app all season long. We'll be posting all of our plays and analysis behind those plays in real time on the app. I may not be able to post everything right away on social media. So if you want to follow along, you want to figure out what we're betting and why, and possibly, get some tips, some feedback, follow us on the Action app. Check out the podcast every week. Obviously, we'll talk about previewing the games that we are betting in the upcoming weekend on college football and NFL. And then we'll also do a recap. We'll talk about everything that happened that was good, all the bets we made that worked out, the ones that didn't, why, how we're improving our process, and you'll be able to follow along throughout the entire season to see how we do and what our process is, how we track our bets, how we analyze wins and losses and make improvements along the way. The last thing is we do have a free playbook. If you subscribe to our Substack, we'll email that to you for free. NT Sports on Substack, or it's also in our link in bio. You can snag that there for $5. So check that out. More tips and tricks and just more tools for your toolbox. So we're making money this season. Let's dive into the slate of games though. I actually got one bet down so far, only one. There are, 6 games tomorrow? And, 6 games that involve FBS teams. There's some FCS football out there. If you're into that, go for it. I don't have the time or the brain capacity to break down all the FCS schools, so we're going to stay away from that. We're going to focus on all 136 FBS college football teams. We got a little Oktoberfest going on here. Weather's cooling down in Ohio. It's beautiful. Mid-70s, getting cooler at night. Finally made it through the heat wave. It's feeling like football season too, so you can't beat it. First up, kicking off the 2025 college football season, we have Farmageddon over in Dublin, Ireland, Iowa State versus Kansas State. This line, depending on where you look, it's anywhere from -3 up to -3.5. It's kind of bounced around. I think there were even some 2.5s available at one point. We did bet this. We bet it at -3.5, -105, which is, and we did this last week. It looks like this is no longer available. The best line I'm seeing is -110, but I don't know if there's, I have a feeling they'll still be -3s tomorrow. I don't know if they'll be juiced up anymore. If you like K-State like we do in this game, you might want to bounce on this -3, -110. Maybe a better lower juice might pop up tomorrow. I don't know. This number's been up for a long time. And the longer a number is up, the more the market is betting it, the more efficient it is. So I don't think we'll see a lot of movement between -3, -3.5 on these numbers here. If you're an Iowa State backer, you do have the +3.5s out there too as well. Very juiced up, +3.5. So I don't know if you want to go that route. I think you can get a -114. Pretty solid number there. But our rationale here is we think K-State's the better team. They had a down year last year, had some bad luck throughout the season. They have Avery Johnson back. He's the key to this entire game. We're expecting him to be much more consistent this year, really take that next step and that next leap. Iowa State did lose a lot. To be honest, this is going to be a close game. I think it'll be within a touchdown. We have it at -4.8 is our exact number here. We think this is going to be a battle. It's going to be a slugfest. K-State probably should have won that game last year. They had some turnovers, had some bad luck in that game, and got beat. They're coming back for revenge. It's a neutral site game, unfortunately. I really wish this game was either in Manhattan or out in Iowa City, but it's not. We'll take it in Dublin. But we are on Kansas State, -3 and -105. Total for this game as well is sitting at 50.5. It did go up a point from 49.5. So I do think, I don't bet, we're going to talk about this. I don't bet many totals. Totals aren't my thing. I prefer to stick to what I know, and what I know is point spreads and the occasional money line. But if you are totals better, this one I do lean over. These teams have proved that they're able to score on each other. I think Kansas State's offense is going to be much more efficient. Iowa State's probably going to switch their offense up a little bit this year. They lost their 2,000-yard receivers from last year, so I don't think they're going to be as pass-heavy as they were last year. So that might lean a little bit to the under, and they may try to control the clock a lot more, get the tight ends involved a lot more. Not going to be airing it out. But I expect Avery Johnson and Kansas State to pull this out, have a big game. If you're looking at the money line, I would bet the money line here up to about 190. If you're feeling like going that route and you don't want to deal with that field goal, go for it. To me, I have enough value here where I'm comfortable with the -3, and there's plenty of good money line numbers out there. So it was -160. So feel free to go for that as well. But can't wait for this one. This one's going to be a battle. It has major Big 12 implications as far as conference championship goes. We had 2 ranked teams as well. I forgot to mention Iowa State's ranked 22nd to start the year. Kansas State's 17 to start the year. So hell of a game to kick off the season. Next up, kind of a big gap here. So they didn't really spread these games out very far. We got one game at noon. We got 4 o'clock. We got UNLV, Idaho State. This line has been steamed a ton. It's went up 9 points since the opener, from 21.5 to -30.5. I don't know, at one point you want to buy back Idaho State. Like I said, I don't really dabble with FCS teams here. if I had to bet, I mean, 9 point swing is insane. I would probably lean towards Idaho State, maybe battling here and keeping this within 30.5, but not touching this game. Not at all. It is going to be interesting to see, though, with new head coach Dan Mullen coming in. He's going to have a couple QBs. We know we talked about earlier in our Group of 5 breakdown. He had an excellent running back in Jaden Jet Thomas, probably the best running back in the Mountain West. Quarterback situation is up in the air. They have the Michigan transfer Alex Orji, Anthony Colandrea. So we'll see what they do here. UNLV will run away with this game. Will they hit the number? I don't know. Not one I'm interested in playing. I am interested in seeing how this UNLV team is going to perform with Dan Mullen coming in. I think this is a very high upside team. They did lose in the Mountain West championship game to Boise State last year, and a lot of folks are expecting them to come back and really compete. But there was a lot of changes, coaching, turnover, quarterback situations unknown. So we're off UNLV this year. I think they'll be very competitive. They'll probably crush Idaho State, but stay away from us at this point. Next up, a game we do love, and kind of disappointed that we missed out on a number that we saw a couple days ago, but we hesitated. Didn't get on at the time, but I still am seeing some value here. So this is Fresno State and Kansas. Kansas is a team, finished 5-7 last year. They got Jalen Daniels back and healthy. They lost a few starters, but we do love Lance Leipold as the head coach. This team finished very strong last year. They didn't quite make a bowl game, but and they had some close calls earlier in the year. Finished the year really strong, and I think they're going to carry that momentum into this season. Fresno State, they got a new coach, Matt Entz, and brought in a quarterback from Rice, E.J. Warner, son of Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner. May know him. My numbers have this at -16. It was 12.5, -12.5 for a lot of the week. Opened at 14, went all the way down to 12.5. Now it's back up to 13.5. There's not even any 13s available at this point, which I also saw yesterday. So just a little disappointed in myself here, but I still may jump on this at the -13.5. There's a -110 out there. So juice isn't too bad. There's 14s popping up already. So if you are a Fresno State backer, you can get the +14 at decent juice. But the real question mark here is going to be Kansas's defense. Very confident that Jalen Daniels is gonna ball out here and put up some points. Can their defense get enough stops to keep them covering here? I don't know. We do know E.J. Warner coming from Rice, good quarterback, a lot of potential, but is very turnover prone. And if Kansas can disrupt him, get to him, cause some turnovers, make him frustrated, then they should run away with this thing. So we're on the fence here. Like I said, I wish I would have got the -12.5. I still may bet it at the -13.5, -110, because I'm still seeing some value here. But stay tuned there. This is one where jump on the Action app, check tomorrow, see if I manage to get to the window in this one. Next up, Sam Houston, the Bearcats with a K, versus Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, one of the best logos in all of college football. This is going to be an exciting game. I'm looking forward to this one. Another one, not sure if I'm going to bet. This number drops down to 9.5, back up to 10.5. Now it's back down to 10. So it seems like that's the sweet spot. The market's kind of beat this one into place here. There's still some 10.5s out there. There's a -115. Not bad. And there's also -9.5s out there too. So this line's kind of bouncing around all different directions. I'm leaning Sam Houston here. I have it projected at -6.5. This is the biggest edge I have on this slate tomorrow, but the reason I'm not pouncing on it is because it's week 0. And the thing with college football, man, you got to start out slow. You got to ease your way into it. I've learned this over the years. It's with so much turnover in college football year over year with these rosters, you really don't know what you're going to get. If this was like week 5 or 6 or later, and I had this number, there's no doubt about it. I would pounce on this. But the fact that I'm so far off from the market kind of worries me a little bit. that I'm missing something, or my lines are a little bit off. Some other models that I do look at and do trust have this anywhere from, let's see, S&P Plus has it at -8.5, Action Network's -5.7. Then you look at Jeff Sagarin, who I trust as well, long time modeler, and ratings have been out for decades. Has this has a 10.5, so that does worry me a little bit. So we'll see. If I did bet this, it would be Sam Houston at the -10.5. Sam Houston brings in head coach Phil Longo. Brings in the air raid. They were 10-3 last year, but they had a ton of turnover. Back situation, it looks like Hunter Watson. So new system, pretty much new team in Sam Houston. So it's really hard to get a feel for how this team's going to start off with this new air raid passing game. And on the flip side, you got Tyson Helton, who has this Western Kentucky team. Do run a similar type pass-heavy offense. Did bring in a transfer quarterback from Abilene Christian, Maverick McIver. What a name, man. At the FCS level, he threw for over 8,000 yards, 61 touchdown passes last 3 seasons. Led Abilene Christian to the playoffs. So this is one that, like I said, I'm leaning towards the Bearcats with a K. But at the same time, this is a game where, man, Western Kentucky could blow this open, especially if this high pace, very fast Sam Houston offense is sputtering early and Western Kentucky's getting more cracks at the ball. That's going to kill their defense, Sam Houston's defense, and this is just going to be a runaway. This one makes me nervous. College football, start slow, man. There's, five games tomorrow. You don't got to bet them all. We think we know who these teams are, but we really don't know for a few weeks who these teams really are. My model's correct and my preseason projections are correct. Then Sam Houston should cover this 10.5. But if I'm wrong, and I'm really wrong, then this is going to be a Western Kentucky blowout. So we'll see where this line goes. Like I said, there was some buyback at the 10.5. I think that's the sweet spot there. So we'll see where this goes tomorrow. Once again, follow the app. I may end up pulling the trigger on Sam Houston, but we'll see. Last but not least, on the island tomorrow night, we got Hawaii and Stanford. And this is an interesting game. This is a game that I did look at a while ago. These lines dropped months ago. And this line opened as Stanford the favorite, 1.5 point favorite. And it's flipped all the way to Hawaii -2.5. Every podcast I've listened to throughout the summer has been on Hawaii. This is another one where I just don't see it in the numbers. My handicap and my football knowledge is clearly this is Hawaii's side. But I just can't justify it. This line's moved so much. If they were still a dog and I could have got this early when it was at the 1.5, this is a no-brainer bet. But now that's at 2.5. We'll see where it goes tomorrow. If it hits 3, it's going to be real tough not to bet Stanford. But Stanford is in flux, man. They brought in Frank Reich as the temporary head coach. Got Andrew Luck coming in as the GM, trying to turn around this program versus a Hawaii team on the island. Timmy Chang's crew is going to be hit on all cylinders with quarterback Micah Alejado. They got the offense, they got the receivers. Stanford is in flux, in turmoil. Everything says Hawaii, and maybe we'll jump on a money line here. But yeah, I'm not seeing it right now. This is the one game that, like I said, if I could have got Hawaii earlier in the summer, a few weeks ago, I probably would have pounced on this. But man, most likely going to be a stay away from us. So, out of the 5 games tomorrow, the one bet that we do have locked in is the Kansas State -3 in Farmageddon against Iowa State. The next bet we'd be on is Kansas at -13.5. So a couple of favorites tomorrow, which are not usually ideal. Kansas one has moved in our favor. Kansas State, like I said, we got it at -105. It's no longer available. So it's moving back up. I don't know if it'll hit 3.5 or not. We'll see. But man, that's it. 5 games tomorrow. This is a quick one. We'll be back early next week to review this weekend slate. Start talking about week 1 college football. We'll dive a little bit deeper into the NFL as well. As we get closer to week 1, we'll do a full NFL picks breakdown next week. But that's it, folks. Enjoy tomorrow. Football's back. We made it. New season starts tomorrow. Cheers to that. Cheers to making some money. Cheers to being profitable. Cheers to having a good time throughout this entire football season. We'll talk next week. Good bets, good times, everybody. Cheers.